Pre-show. We on?
We
Are we
are
on
on.
now? Oh my gosh. Right there. Get through the ads.
Got the notifications.
Right on. Letting everybody know. Everybody knows. Do-do-do-dum. The hard way. Chipotle, chipotle, chipotle. Let's see. Running the ad right now.
Yo, that's been retweeted. There and no crap should be.
All right. And everything's set up to go.
I went to check the docket like we had news to talk about.
Yeah, right. What's going on?
Oh man,
No ads there. All right.
an
That's
adless
cool.
experience is always nice.
Right.
Help if I actually
Oh,
have this. Oh,
all right. Mm. All right. Last Tuesday night of the year.
that's right. It's gonna be 2022 soon.
Hmm.
Nuts. What happened to this year? Where did it go?
I don't know. I do not know. It's kind of a strange year. Weird
Yeah,
delays and stuff, all kinds of things.
I was reminded by a DM earlier today of a game we forgot to talk about last week. Or
Sorry.
the down the toilet. That's right. Or the biggest surprises, upheavals, big releases of the year. And that
Yeah.
was the Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance game, Baldur's Gate Dark
Okay.
Alliance, that like came out and crashed.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
They-
completely forgot to talk about that one.
Well, it's dead.
Yeah, it super is. Yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah,
that there hasn't been much luck bringing D&D over to video games.
yeah,
You know, I think there's been some good ones that are good for their time. I think Neverwinter was great for its time,
yeah. I agree.
and some other ones, some Baldur's Gate, but they really haven't. I
Pillars
don't
of
know. They really haven't
Eternity
kept.
was okay as a D&D game. I think it was great as an RPG, but it was okay as a D&D game. But obviously they couldn't use any of the D&D names.
Yeah.
So you had like all the classes were variations of that. Uh, I
Well, a
didn't
lot of
never really
times
interacted with Deadfire. Let's see.
the a lot of over a few of the Heroes of Might and Magic felt more like D&D
Yeah,
than some of the D&D games did,
for sure.
but they were fun. Uh, you know, it's just they usually don't feel like D&D
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
I really liked Divinity, but I think Divinity also is very different. It has that same feel of, especially like with the DM mode, where you literally have like somebody as the DM in Divinity
Yeah.
running the game. It's very
Yeah.
cool, but I think that the I don't know. There's something about when you play it. I think it's because everybody has control at the same time, but your camera only focuses on you. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like that D&D experience. You know,
Yeah.
Here's Might and Magic is great. This is a great game.
Yeah.
100%. Whenever I would play Divinity 2 with people, my experience was always like, because you can play online. My experience was always like I'd be talking to an NPC and we'd be invoiced with somebody else, and then somebody else is over here stealing something and triggering all the enemies. And it's like, okay, that's like D&D, but I didn't know that was happening. And so, like, at the table, the experience is I get to know the
Yeah.
rogue is over there trying to steal something, and I'm trying
Right.
to pretend I don't know. And
Yeah.
I don't know how you make that work with video games, you know?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't. I I just don't think that they've got pat. There's a threshold there that
Yeah,
they can't break, a ceiling they can't get through.
yeah.
So maybe one day.
Also, we had a comment that called me out for my Kayaksa wizard ring here, and the
Yeah.
fact that not only have I not seen Kamen Rider Fives, but I haven't reviewed it yet. So I'm gonna have to watch Kamen Rider Five sometime soon.
Yeah. Yeah. I would do
Sorry,
that.
you're right.
Putting it up. Goodness.
Uh, it's fair,
What?
it's fair. I literally rep that every podcast. Yeah, I haven't seen Fives yet. I want to because when they press 555 on the phone, because Fives uses the phone to transform, and then it
Yeah.
goes standing by. So I have to see the show just for that.
Yeah. Of course. The infamous 555 number. 555-1212.
That's right.
That's how you get a hold of Ghostbusters.
There's a lot of seasons of Kamen Rider. Okay, there's a
That's
lot
all
of
I'm
them.
saying. I don't have excuses.
There's 35 writers. There's 55, I think now, Sentai series, and there's like 40 years of Ultraman. I'm doing my best,
Golly. Wow.
but yeah, Well, I guess we could go ahead and roll into the main podcast. What do you think?
All right. Yeah, we're 6 minutes in. Go ahead and do the intro.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Full Spectrum Podcast. My name is Trey.
I am Rungren.
We got almost nothing to talk about tonight. So, just real quick at the top, want to go ahead and throw this out there. I'm not going to be able to make it for the Thursday podcast. I have some stuff that has come up in my life that has to be taken care of, a major emergency Thursday, and I will not be able to make it. But I will be back, as far as I know, for next week's podcast.
Right.
And continuing on from there. But Rungren has, he's going to tackle that.
Yeah, I'll
Got
be
some
on.
plans.
I'll be on.
And we're thankful to be able to have him cover.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, I've done more D&D podcasts than you have.
That's true. Yeah, you're up two
One-
that I've missed now.
Yeah, so one more is not going to hurt.
That's right. Yeah. So before we get into the news or the singular, there's not a singular for news that lets me just go new.
Yeah.
How's your week been?
It's been pretty good. I've been playing some songs a little bit. Yeah. Got to mess around with the Horizon.
Okay. Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. I'm gonna go a little bit further into that. Just kind of starting out, getting the feel of it, see how it plays.
Did you
Was
see
that
the
what-
Bloomberg article about Horizon?
No.
I almost put that as news, and we can just touch on it here because it happens all the time. But I don't think we've talked about it on the podcast. But Bloomberg put out an article that's like, if only more games were like Horizon, where I could play them in front of my parents and not have to feel ashamed. Like, okay, all right, calm down.
There's lots of games out there.
Yeah.
You can play. I don't know where you're shopping, but
Yeah. Anyway, please continue. I'm sorry.
Let's do that. I'm trying to think of what else has been going on. I've had to run out of town the other day, come back. I don't know. The week's kind of flown by for me.
Yeah.
Just personal stuff and music. I did get to watch Free Guy.
Yeah. Tell me about Free Guy.
Yeah, Free Guy. Man, I like the movie. On two different levels.
Okay.
Well, on one, it's not very deep at all.
Okay.
It's kind of a rom-com, set in an interesting world, and I think you can enjoy it on that level. On the other level, it's about the first true AI,
Right.
which is
The Free Guy.
which is Free Guy, the and trying to save him and what they don't go into it too much, but what constitutes Free Guy and all that. And if you've got any like background in artificial intelligence, like it goes back to like the Godel, Escher, and Bach by Philip J. Hostetler in 1976, Pulitzer Prize winner. It's the stuff, artificial stuff, intelligence stuff in there. A lot of it still holds true today. There's once again the threshold, that you can't, that the video games. It's the same kind of thing we're talking about when we were talking earlier.
Yeah.
About D&D and video games not being able to bridge that final gap of what it is. And in artificial intelligence, there's a lot of ways it seems like that. And I don't know if it'll ever truly happen.
Right.
But I liked, it was kind of refreshing to see that. I don't know if anybody else would watch it and like go that deep with it.
Yeah.
On it. But like I said, it can be enjoyed on too much. There's not much. I mean, it's not mind blowing or anything. It's funny, made me laugh, and it's just a good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. Like I
Yeah,
said, I had that secondary level where I was like, the the software
yeah.
is it true?
The Ghost in the Machine.
Yeah. Well, it's a little bit because you can watch how Free Guy interacts with the love interest, right?
Right.
And some of that's based off of the programming
Yeah.
of what he was. So he was given an original program, and then the program they were doing was growing and adding to it,
Right.
and it gets that can get really deep into how artificial intelligence is what artificial
Yeah.
intelligence would be.
Absolutely.
Um, I do believe on the screen. We'll go back and look at it. They showed some recursiveness, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But I want to go back and look and make sure it was on that. But that was my week, sir. How was yours?
Okay. Well, before we move on, I wanted to ask: did you ever see
Okay.
Her?
Yes.
Okay. I've always heard that's what Her is, but I never watched it myself.
Yeah. It can kind of be on the same. Except it's got that same thing about artificial intelligence, but it's not. It's not necessarily a
Yeah.
set for it as a comedy. So it seems a little
I
more
got you.
drama. But yeah, it kind
Okay.
of. I think it tackles the same thing. The thing that they didn't tackle that they tackled in that they didn't tackle too hard in Free Guy. Of course, it's Free Guy. It's
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
like a comedy. Was the relationship between AI and humanity.
Right.
And in that one, it kind of had a free pass where Free Guy, the AI, was like, "Hey, this is not going to work because
Right.
I am an AI and this is not your world,
Yeah.
and we're going to create our world here. You're welcome to visit, but
Right.
it's not going to work because it's not your world." But
Okay.
yeah, both of those kind of touched in on that on artificial intelligence and what it means.
Did both do it better than AI?
AI was really
It's a
AI was an
depressing
interesting
movie.
movie. That was a very depressing movie, and I knew it was going to be right in the get go when he says, "We taught a machine to love," and I was like, "Well,
Yeah.
that's just a horrible thing to do to
Yep.
somebody."
That's really unfair.
Go through that, but um, I think so. But then again, our understanding of what AI might be has changed
Yeah.
a little
That's
bit,
true. That's true.
even though we're banging our head against that ceiling.
So you would
Yeah,
recommend the movie then?
I would. I would.
Okay.
I would. Don't just to enjoy.
Yeah. Just
Don't
sit back
nothing too
and
deep.
have a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The end
Let
of
it be
AI
silly.
is something.
Yeah,
All right. That the end of that movie is rough.
yeah,
All right. Well, it might not surprise you to find out that most of my week was Endwalker. Uh,
yeah.
I am now in Zone 3. I am roughly, I would say I'm almost done with Zone 3 based on
Okay.
how many of the ether currents I've got. I'm just about level 84 pushing it, but I know there are role quests. And so role
Okay.
quests are like each of the different roles will have a story quest that's tied into the main story. And for Shadowbringers, I just did the one that was tied to the class I was playing and then finished the story.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
kind of wish that I had gone back and done them all first and then
Oh,
finished the story. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking about because realistically, I already know I'm not finishing Endwalker before the end of the year. There's just no way.
gotcha.
So, Game of the Year, heads up, Game of the Year is probably going to get pushed back a week while I finish Endwalker. But if I'm going to go ahead and push it back, I might as well start leveling those other classes while I'm at it so that I can do all the role quests together and get all the story
Yeah.
for that big push.
Yeah.
And so I've been running leveling roulettes as the other roles. And it's really interesting seeing the change in the community, maybe is the way to say it, because when Sage first launched, it's a healer that I'm maining, people thought it was very weak, and now all I'm seeing is people talking about how strong it is, because people have learned how to play it now.
Well, yeah. Usually there's some kind of in tab targeting MMOs. There's usually some kind of combo that works with, or usually more than one. You can kind of combo up and get a cycle going.
Yeah,
It usually maxes out, not maxes out, but
yeah,
does the
speeds
most it
things up.
can do for the
Yeah.
class. Yeah.
Well, and Sage is the healer to go for fast clears now, because every other healer's ability, their AOE ability, is as soon as you get 3 enemies, it's time to use your AOE because that's when the math makes it the most useful. But for Sage, it's 2. Have as little as 2 enemies and you're doing more damage with your AOE, which means at all times Sage is putting out just that little bit of DPS than everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Healing wise, that makes it really nice. But Endwalker's story so far, really, really good. If it continues on the trend it's on right now, it will easily surpass Shadowbringers for me, which will make it my favorite Final Fantasy game. Just the Endwalker itself, because Shadowbringers was like right there with a caveat of you have to play all this to get there. Endwalker will still have that, but so far Endwalker has been better than Shadowbringers, which means that I don't care about that caveat. It was just at the edge of like, but yeah, you have to do this, you know?
Yeah.
Now it's like, I don't care, do it. Play Endwalker.
Do it now.
But we'll see if it sticks the landing. You know, it might not, but I'm really enjoying it so far.
Cool.
And then I did finish Healthbound. Because it was just 6 episodes. Pretty quick to just burn through. I don't want to spoil too much for anybody. I do want to do a review on it at some point. But very, very interesting direction that it takes about halfway through the series. And I think I like it more because it took that direction than I ever would have if it had just stayed what it was originally.
Oh, okay.
I think it's very, very good the way that it turns. And I really like it. Easy recommendation, especially because, again, it's made by the guy who made Train to Busan.
Yeah.
Very, very solid.
That's cool. Very cool.
It's all about the characters. Characters are great. Looking forward to season 2.
Good to hear, man.
And I haven't started watching it yet, but Witcher season 2 just came out, and I never saw season 1.
Yeah, I haven't seen season 1 yet. I've been avoiding spoilers on season 2.
Yeah.
Though it does seem like some people are upset with it, but
Yeah.
like I said, I haven't seen it, so I don't know what's going on.
Right. I've kept away from all the information as well, and I've been told I need to watch it. And then my dad's trying to get me to watch Wheel of Time. I'm like, I don't have time for all this. What am I supposed to make time? So, you know, I'm going to try and make time. But we'll see how that goes.
Right?
Well, speaking of seeing how things go, there are no reviews for this week because who would dare put out a game at the last week of the year? What are you doing?
Right
you
now.
know?
I ever heard of Game Studio. That's the only time we're releasing games.
Right?
This week.
Final week of the year. Here we go. I guess,
Yeah.
for what it's worth, holidays were good around my end. Nobody got into fights in the family this time. So that was great. There were some strained tensions here and there, but there were no like actual arguments. So I call that a win.
Right on. Good. That's good, sir.
But yeah.
Glad you made it through.
There were also no announcements for games, but we did have a delay, which is Final Fantasy 16 has been delayed.
Yeah.
And I wonder,
Well,
go ahead.
that should be that. I mean,
Yes.
you should have seen that coming
Yes.
with everything they're dealing with at the moment.
Especially because it's Naoki Yoshida who's working on 16. It's like, no, of course it's getting delayed. Servers are on fire.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not putting this out right now.
But he released a really interesting statement that is basically just like, hey, last time I talked to you, I can just read it. Why am I? He says, when last we spoke, I promised I would have more information on Final Fantasy 16 sometime later in 2021. However, I regret to inform you that I will be unable to keep that promise as complications stemming from the ongoing COVID-19. I said the name, we're demonetized. YouTube, just forget that one. Just go back and edit that out for me, YouTube, please.
Yep.
Pandemic have delayed the game's development by almost half year. As the latest addition to the Final Fantasy series being developed for the PlayStation 5, Final Fantasy 16 has amassed a sizable team composed of talented creators from around the world. However, in an effort to offset the effects of the thing, we've had to decentralize that workforce by permitting staff to tackle their assignments from home. This has unfortunately hampered communication from the Tokyo office, which in turn has led to delays in, or in extreme cases, cancellation of asset deliveries from our outsourced partners.
Mm-hmm.
I want to just, real quick, because there's a lot more, you know, but real quick, people don't do that when they're apologizing for a delay. They just go, hey, we're sorry, it's not going to make it.
Yes.
He's going, this is why. This is why it's being delayed. Because, again, this is Naoki Yoshida. I don't mean to put the man on a pedestal, but there's not many people in gaming doing what he's doing.
Yeah, being honest about what's going on the back end. Mm-hmm. I got mine with Standing Stone Games. They're like, look, our hardware on the back end is terrible. We've got to upgrade that. We're working on it.
Yeah.
Hey, I get a graphics update this year, so
nice.
Or 2022, so
that's basically this year already.
Yeah.
He goes on to say, that said, we have spent much of 2021 addressing this issue and hope to see its impact to a minimum by the new year, allowing us to better focus on the task at hand, increasing graphic resource quality, refining combat mechanics, fleshing out individual battles, putting the finishing touches on cutscenes, and conducting overall graphical optimization. Our primary goal now is to be as hands-on with the game as possible in order to see it fully polished. So that leaves us with the question, when can we expect the next round of information? Well, I'm happy to announce the current plan is to conduct our next big reveal in spring of 2022 as we seek to build excitement leading up to the game's eventual release. I like the way he words that. It's the eventual. We might have to push it back again, but it's coming.
Yeah, they'll have a statement. I guarantee it'll be probably the week of or the week before they announce earnings for that quarter. So
yeah, for sure.
So probably it'd be the end of March. I would imagine they would put one out.
Most likely. He then deeply apologizes for the delay and then just says, hey, basically, please look forward to it, you know? So.
Yeah, I think they're going to get... over the next year, that they're going to be able to do a lot more once they get the hardware on the back end going and things in. And they're having a rough time. Just a lot of companies are.
That's for sure.
That rely on digital components at this time and certain chips.
No, I agree. And it's better to be open about it instead of just going, hey, things are going apace. The game will release on schedule. And then 2 days before launch, we're pushing the game back.
Well, also, it's a different situation for Final Fantasy because it's not really... It's a good problem.
Yes.
To have. It's not like these other ones where they, that the beta just won't run.
Right.
And then they don't try to fix it until they delay the launch.
I think it's also got like a weird sticking power because of the name where it can go, hey, yeah, we need more time and get away with it easily because they don't have to worry about, hey, the Final Fantasy name is going to lose its power. It's like, no, that's not happening. And they don't have to worry about like, people are gonna not get hyped for it when like Final Fantasy Record Keeper, Brave Exvius, FF14. We've got the new mobile game that's just come out for Soldier, Final Fantasy VII Remake. People are not gonna stop getting hyped for Final Fantasy.
No, and it's also an MMO thing. I think a little bit. A lot of MMOs are a lot more. Have more communication with their audience, with their customers.
Yeah.
A lot of game companies that are just putting out
for sure.
Even like Halo with the multiplayer. But the MMO, that usually you're getting a lot of updates. I mean, that's one of the things that kind of brought RuneScape back. Is the community and the developers going, hey, we're going to do this, and staying in constant contact with the people who are playing their game.
Absolutely.
And, right now, Final Fantasy is an MMO. It's the biggest one in the world.
Yeah.
And it's good. They're keeping up with the information.
That's right.
Letting people know.
I forgot Strangers of Origin is also coming, or Strangers of Paradise. The Final Fantasy 1 reimagining, I guess is the word. That's also coming out next year. Final Fantasy's doing good.
Yeah. There's a lot of things going on. A lot of things going for it.
Well, that's all of our news.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of slow week, as you said. No game releases or anything. I do have a couple questions for you though.
Okay.
Kind of over the year. So, you played a lot of games this year.
I did.
Yeah. What game do you think surprised you the most? That was like, this is...
Inscription, I think, for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
That game, I'd never seen a card game quite like it. I don't think I ever will again. That will capture me the way it did. There's no way I'm beating it before Game of the Year, and I kind of don't care if I beat it or not. I got what I wanted from it already, Yeah. That very unique experience. I can go back and play it for just a little bit at any time and still get that very unique experience.
All right. Inscription, an indie game. Very nice. And I believe that's not just a hipster answer too. I
Right.
think
No, I love that game. If anybody go and watch the video of me playing Inscription and hear me marking out. I loved that game.
the
Arto's good too.
so which was the biggest disappointment?
I want to say Balan, but that's not fair because I knew Balan was bad going into it, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, it was probably Hitman 3.
Mm.
I was so excited for that game. No, it's Boyfriend Dungeon.
Okay.
I was so stoked for Boyfriend Dungeon. I wanted to date my sword. And then I get in there and it's one of the worst playing games I've ever played.
Uh,
Oh, that's easily my most disappointing. Hands down.
okay. Boyfriend. So description, biggest surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Boyfriend dungeon. Like I'm pretty sure I know it falls for worst game of the year because
Oh,
Byron's
yeah.
the guy.
No,
Too.
100%.
They don't do that. Um. So like so which games, which game? Give me three. That you're like, yeah, I'm recommending this game. Go play this game.
Okay. That released in 2021?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Three
I'm
games
going to
from this
go
year.
with, for sure, Resident Evil Village.
Nice.
That's an
Okay.
easy recommendation for me. I'm gonna go with. Oh man, it's so tough because all my other favorites are like niche
Neck and neck, is
genres.
it?
You
Yeah.
know, like I love Metroidvanias, so there's 3 Metroidvanias that I love that I want to recommend now. I'm gonna go Resident Evil Village. I'm gonna go Monster Hunter Rise,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna go Metroid Dread.
All right. I think
Those are 3 easy recommendations.
yeah. There we go. So which first part of the year, second part of the year stronger as far as games coming out? Games that came out.
I think had I beaten more of the games that came out in the second half of the year, I would probably say the second half. Because stuff like Lost Judgment came out and I just haven't beaten it. Stuff like Outer Wilds Echoes of the Eye came out and I just haven't beaten it. Scarlet Nexus came out and I just haven't beaten it. But I think that first half of the year with Chris Tales and Skull the Hero Slayer, Resident Evil Village, Ratchet and Clank, I just think that was a really strong half of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. I think so too. I don't know. There seems to be a kind of a spread in the year
Hmm.
where it's like, man, we get some good stuff, then it slows down, and
Yeah.
it does it each year, and then bam, it comes out. And usually, thinking back, not anything specific, but usually it seems to me that it's always kind of like the end of the year.
Yeah.
We get the big titles, getting into the holiday season. But
Mhm.
I didn't feel it this year. But you
I
played a lot
didn't
more
either.
games than I did, so
I
I wanted
think
to see
part
if
of
that
that
was
was the staggered release of Halo, right? Which made it where Halo didn't feel like it had a big punch for a release. You
yeah,
know, I think that part of that is Endwalker got delayed, and so it didn't have like the. It's very good, but it would have been second half of November all the way through, whereas now it's just the month of December itself.
well, there's quite a few delays at the end of the year too. That
Yeah,
probably
there's a
tied
bunch
it.
of games that should have come out this month that have been pushed to next month. That affected the Dying Light 2 was a big one that a lot of people were excited for, and it got pushed back.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, all right.
Diablo 2 is a very good game, though.
It is. It's. I love the original Diablo, but Diablo 2 captured something,
Yeah,
and Diablo 3 is fun, but it's not Diablo 2. It doesn't.
yeah.
It didn't spark the same.
I love Diablo 3 in spite of Diablo 3.
Yeah,
The gameplay of Diablo 3 is chef's kiss. The
yeah,
story of Diablo 3 is I just don't even skip it every time. Just don't even pay attention.
yeah. We ran through it. Well,
Watch the
I ran
cutscene with
through.
Malthael when he shows up. Watch that cutscene. But all the rest you skip.
Well, Weber and I played through when Diablo 3 came out. We played through, the story and everything, and we had the extra, the DLC
Yeah.
with death. Played all of that, and it was kind of tough. And then I don't know that we ever touched the story again.
Yeah, no.
It was just adventure mode.
The
and go
only
around and
reason
do
I play the
bounties and
story
stuff.
now is for season mode.
Yeah, and see
That's
that now
it.
you don't. now you don't even have to play. I don't think you have to play the story for season mode anymore.
Do you
As
not?
long as you, no, as long as you get to the oh fooey.
Because adventure mode is great.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I think they put more into adventure mode because used to you had to play through the story before you could do adventure,
Right.
and now you can go straight into adventure mode.
That's cool.
The riffs over and over. Yeah, the riffs are good, and the greater riffs are good. It's got potential there, but it's missing something. I don't know what it is.
I like those season buffs because they completely like change the way you play in a really cool way.
Yeah, yeah, and the yeah, your you could make your build based off your armor.
Mm-hmm. Well, and this
You know.
current one is gyms. This current season, where you
Oh.
slot gyms into your gear, and then it has like it the gym can level up, and it has a pro and a con. Or like
Mm.
one of them is like you can't crit anymore on regular attacks, but if the target is stunned or under any CC, it automatically crits.
Oh gosh, I got a barbarian that would be
Right?
disturbing with. Oh
It's
goodness.
a fun game.
All right. 3 games to avoid.
Balan Wonderworld.
Maybe that was on the list.
That's a easy. Don't touch that game. Should not. Man, gonna be honest. I feel like there are some games that people love that I don't. I don't know if people are
Ah,
gonna be happy with my response on,
I'm gonna
but
stir up some controversy here.
I think maybe you should avoid Boyfriend Dungeon,
Okay.
even though I know people really seem to like that one, and people are really not gonna be happy with this answer. Look, we'll be straight with you, 'cause I always am. I'm always honest. Uh, don't touch Ring of Pain. It's
Mm.
such a cool idea. It's it's such a cool idea, but it just I played that game for 15 minutes and just hated it. And it's not because it's bad, it's just that game was in early access for a long time. People were so excited for it, and then it doesn't have a tutorial. It doesn't explain what's going on, and then you just start clicking through stuff, and that's all the game is. And
Mm.
just don't do it. Try the demo. Play the demo, and you'll know for sure.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Good. Offer a little caveat at the end there. Just play the demo before you kill me.
Yeah, please. Yeah, don't buy Balan at full price. Look, Balan is like the please, if you don't listen to anything else I ever say, don't buy Balan Wonderworld, but for sure not at full price. What are you doing? No.
Oh man, what a
Ugh.
waste! What a waste! What a world! All right, all right, all right. So enough beating up on some stuff. The what do you with the news that we have coming out next year? What are you looking forward to the most? You think?
Honestly, it's Strangers of Paradise, the Final Fantasy
Yeah.
game. The job system in that is so interesting. It's the job system done up in an action game in a way that I've never seen before, where your main job, your side job, level up as you play as those two. Either one gains XP. Your main job gets more, but you can take two, and then you can save skills and assign them to other jobs, and you get drastically stronger just for mixing it up and playing around with your other jobs. Uh, you can do it all, but you basically are the Warrior of Light from, Final Fantasy 3, I guess, is where you could do that. And then
Yeah.
5, you could do it as well, where you became the Onion Knight class and you can have all the abilities. It's basically that, but you just have to work at it. And that is my kind of grinding. So I
I
am
want to do it.
there. Give it to me. Very excited for that game.
And Final Fantasy is going to have or Square Enix is going to have a big year next year, I do
Yeah.
believe. Coming
Elden
all out.
Ring too, if I could just throw in a quick second. Elden Ring
Yeah.
is a big one for me. Really excited for that. Love the Soul
I-
series and
Yeah,
can't wait.
I'm looking forward to that. Outside the graphical update to Lotro
Yeah.
on that, man, they're putting Enad Global's putting some money into it. And they're taking another team's coming over.
Yeah.
They finished the game that they were working on to help out. It's just It makes me happy.
Yeah, Ragnarok is next year too. That's right.
Oh, oh yeah, that will
It's
be
gonna be a
good.
big one.
Yeah, it will. That's going to be a big drop.
Mhm.
All right, so at the end of this year here, I'll go back to this year, 2021. Which console is the strongest right now at the end of the year?
I think if we're not counting PC, obviously, I think that PS5 has the most big. Oh,
Uh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I don't know what happened. Um,
Now you're
I just,
agreed.
you all right? Just green. What
Uh,
happened?
I think PS5 is the one that has the most like big titles out. Um, I think
Yeah,
Xbox had a really good year, and I think Switch had a decent year, but I think PS5 is still the front runner, especially now that people can actually maybe buy them. Saw an article that said that for the first time in the entire year, Walmart actually had them on shelves.
yeah. No joke, man. Yeah. Well, there's kind of a mystique around it right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Still, it's like the PS5. Can you find one? Going through that. You think they're going to hold on to it at the end of next year?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think that we've got some big titles coming up for everything else, but one of the biggest is the Breath of the Wild sequel. And I
Yeah.
think that that's going to knock it out of the park. People are going to be
Yeah.
buying Switches like crazy.
Yeah. That's gonna be November, end of the year is when they got it slated for.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know.
I'm sorry, I can't get
There's
over the
too many.
greed.
I know there's too many rumors about it right now.
There are, yeah, there are.
Onto that. So I don't know. Right now the best thing I got is November 2022.
Yeah.
I've seen the trailer. I'm excited for it. I think Breath of the Wild is an amazing game. Very excited for it, but
Mhm.
hopefully,
The new
I know.
Splatoon for next year. Yeah, that's gonna be good. I bet. I really enjoyed Splatoon 2. I
Well,
just,
I'm really.
what's gonna happen when they announce Splatoon 4? How is the man gonna do it? It's, every year he's done it. He's made the 1, and then he made the 2, and then he made the 3. How's he gonna make a 4 with his body?
Oh
Like this, and then kick a leg up?
no! Break some bones.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Man.
I'm gonna see if I can work it on my end here. This camera
Maybe
right quick.
maybe just turn your camera off and on again in Discord and see if that fixes it.
Let's see. Have you tried cutting it off and on?
We shall see.
Oh,
Aha!
oh, there we go.
It did.
Imbic. Right? Yeah. Okay.
You heard that old joke about the mechanic and the engineer, the software engineer, that the car breaks down, and the mechanic is like, "Well, hold on, I'll fix it." And the software engineer goes, "Hold on," opens the car door and closes the car door, and then tries to crank it again. The mechanic's like, "What was that for?" He said, "I'm just checking to make sure the connection's good."
Ugh.
Remake for Prince of Persia. Man, that Prince of Persia remake. We'll see. We'll see. I'm real nervous. I'm real
Well,
nervous.
with what's come over the past month of the new graphical engine with Unreal 5 and the Lumen and all the other
Yeah.
ones with polygons, I'm really interested to see what games are what gameplay looks like, especially towards the end of next year
Yeah, for sure.
and over the next couple of years, because that's pretty big. Being able to jump the polygon count like they are
Yes.
to where it's like, oh hey, you're no longer limited on that because this program's going to
Mm-hmm.
mathematically work out when it needs them.
There's some games coming out too that are supposed to push that envelope. Like Forspoken is supposed to be a seamless open world with like extreme distance rendering, where the stuff is rendered while you're not there, and that brings its own complications. Of like, normally when you program a game, as me, the pro programmer over here, when you program a game, you set it to where certain events won't proc until they're rendered. And so until the
Right.
player gets there, things won't happen. So you have
Yeah.
to keep that in mind when you're programming with that kind of technology. We can't do that. We have to instead have a trigger, and it can't just be one spot because this game's open world, so it needs to be this specific area where they have to have done
Yeah.
this specific thing that triggers this event.
Well, and, unless you're going for, hey, time moves in this world, and if you're
Yeah,
not there
you miss it.
when the Cyclops shows up to attack the little town, then the little town's going to be destroyed.
Majora's Mask.
Yeah. If you miss something, you miss it. I won't do that. Which might be,
It'd be cool.
might be something coming out, where you're a little bit, yeah,
Star Wars
a little bit
Galaxy.
with that. But I think there's going to be more and more of to where you're just in a world and the world goes,
In a world.
in a world. Yes, but oh man, I was trying to think about anything else to ask because wasn't going to ask. You got Game of the Year coming up,
Right.
so avoiding those. Um, any new mechanics surprised you this year?
Yes, I think when it comes to, there's a really weird thing that Endwalker does that I've never seen an MMO do before.
Probably
That
would run it.
seems easy, and I don't know why nobody's done it before, but it's literally just this NPC can follow you. And obviously you can zone out and do other stuff, and so you just go back to where the NPC is. And a lot of games have had that mechanic, right?
Yeah.
But then as you're going around the area, the NPC will have new dialogue.
Okay.
And it's weird that something so simple blew me away, but it's because especially most tab target games, not even MMOs, you cannot do that. You cannot take an NPC with you and get dialogue. And you go, well, that's like followers and other games. No, I'm not talking like a follower. I'm talking like a story NPC will come with you, and you can choose to talk to them or not at these specific places to get more lore. In a way that at first was kind of just, well, here we go. But then later on is used again in combat, where they will go with you through areas and will make comments on stuff, or where you can go through them through a map, not just a zone, but a map. It's really interesting the way it's done, and I've never seen a game do it quite like that before.
I got some places in Lotro to take you.
Oh, do they do that?
One of my favorite things is there's a character long before
Right.
the time of the War of the Ring, named Fram. It's kind of the legend. It's from Unfinished Tales.
Right.
And you run into one of the descendants. Well, you run it. The Rohirrim are the descendants of him, right?
Right.
So you run into a guy there, and there's just one of them, and yet you go through these, and each little quest, he will fill you in on more of the history of it.
Sure.
And you try to solve the mystery, and he fights alongside you, and all that. He's not a follower.
Right.
There is a follower you can have. They didn't, they just fight. They really don't do anything. But if they're with you, they'll fight with you, and they give you the story, and that's how you get a lot of history in there.
That's
or
cool.
in a couple of places, you're kind of going along with the main NPC for that story,
Right.
and running along with them and fighting and getting stuff filled in.
That's really cool.
That. I'm glad. It's funny that you brought that up because I was listening to a producer a few months ago from Lord of the Rings Online, and one of the games that they love, and this, like I said, this was a few months ago, they talked about it quite a bit, was Final Fantasy 14.
Right.
And that there's people that love that game, that know people that work on it, and it seems like there's been some on here. So I don't know who's done that first.
Right.
But it seems like there's some crossover, and I think Lord of the Rings is looking at some of the things that Final Fantasy is doing, obviously,
Right.
with its success.
And maybe vice versa as well.
Yeah, just for the staying power, not for the huge community, but for the staying power that Lord of the Ring has.
Yeah. I did want to throw out too, just a quick add-in for mechanics, is the wire bug from Monster Hunter Rise is incredible. It brings new movement to a game that has a series that has for a long time been called stale in movement, or slow because there's not a lot of different options to get around the map quickly. And the wire bug gives you the ability to do that, which gives you just that extra leg up over the monsters, which means they can design new monsters with even more crazy movements and crazy attacks
Yeah.
because now you have the movement to be able to counter it in a way that is incredibly satisfying.
Nice. Nice. There's been some cool stuff coming out this year, man. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Games. It's an art to it, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you can take all the cliches and put them together and make the perfect game.
Mm-hmm.
And other times that's just going to make a cliche game that everybody sees right through
Right.
and is tired of. And then you'll have new mechanics that come out, and some of them are fantastic
Yeah.
and make you look at the game a different way. And then others will just fall flat,
Yeah.
like putting a sliding difficulty scale in a
Yeah.
platformer.
That's definitely my least favorite mechanic of this year. But I do have a runner up, and it's from Endwalker.
Oh yeah,
Endwalker
all right.
added in stealth missions where you have to, and I don't mind a stealth mission, but like you got to follow an NPC, and they will turn around and try to see if you're following them or not. And follow
Hmm.
missions are some of the most annoying missions in all the video games. And the problem
Yeah,
with an MMO is sometimes you're following those NPCs through zones full of enemies that respawn.
yeah.
When you start fighting, you can't keep an eye on that NPC to see if they're turning around to look at you and try to hide from them. I failed one today like 4 times because of an enemy. And the only reason I won is because somebody else going through the area killed the enemy for their hunt log, and the enemy was dead when the NPC walked through there. It's the only reason why I succeeded.
Ugh. No, no, that's awful. The worst ones are the you get that lag and all of a sudden you jump up like
Yep.
10 feet from where you were. And I see you.
Yep.
Ah, ugh. Yeah, yeah. I don't like. I don't. There's very few follow missions that I've enjoyed
Yeah.
over my
Lost
life.
Judgment starts with one. That is the first thing you do in that game. And it's like, oh, come on, man. I know it's a detective game, but come on.
Yeah. Ugh, rough. Ugh, follow. Follow. It's like the ice level, right?
Yep.
Why? You don't have to have that.
Nope.
It's not required.
Every game does not have to do this thing. Ugh. Well, if that's all
Please
your
stop.
questions, I
Yeah.
wanted to touch on some of the big releases for next year and see what you're excited for.
Okay. The
Uh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You
Okay.
got a list there?
Yes, I have a list. So what I'd like to do is to have you tell me whether you're excited for it or whether you just don't care at all. Because I think
All
that'd be
right.
interesting, right?
All right.
The first
Your
big
turn.
one is January 20th. This, again, all of these are subject to change. We have Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction, which is the Left 4 Dead like that they're making.
Now they
Yeah.
somewhere they've lost the story on that. It's not what it was.
Yeah.
It really stinks because graphics are so good today,
Mm-hmm.
but it just doesn't. There hasn't been a good Rainbow Six game in a while. I haven't. I haven't enjoyed one in a while.
I don't blame you.
So I'll pass on that
Change
one.
this real quick. Upcoming in 22. Okay. And then we have Pokemon Legends Arceus coming out January 28th, the open world Pokemon game.
No, but I know a lot of people who are very
Yeah.
excited for that and
Yeah.
ready for that. So
I just want to remind everybody, please be ready because Twitter is going to be full of people taking pictures of trees. Complain about the graphics on the trees because that's what you play Pokemon for, the trees.
ugh,
Dying Light 2 Stay Human comes out February 4th.
I want to check that out. I want to see what they do. I do. I think
It
that
looks
one should be.
very cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'm tentatively excited
I
for
like
that one.
everything they've talked about with the procedural story elements because that can go wrong so easy. But if you
Yes.
pull it off,
Yeah. It adds to replay value
well, like
a
Wilder Myth,
lot.
right? The whole reason
Yeah.
Wilder Myth's even on my top 10 is because of how good that procedural storytelling is.
Yeah. And oh, man, procedural storytelling. We're in a procedural world. What is come?
Right?
Oh.
We made it. Uh, Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires comes out on the 15th.
No, but I am gonna play it.
I am too. I am too. We all know this. We all know I'm going to make a video on it, and I'm either going to be incredibly excited and finally
Yeah,
feel like they did it, or I'm going to be sad.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then we have Horizon Forbidden West on February 18th.
With what I've seen so far and what I've been playing, yeah, the the world is very. It's a unique world,
Yes.
and I think it's built well.
Yes.
So carrying on, I look forward to that.
The first one is
That'll be
very
fun.
good, but unfortunately can be a little slow in places. And this one
Mhm.
seems like it has picked up on all of that to make everything more streamlined in a way that seems really cool.
Yeah.
After that, we have the new Destiny 2 expansion, The Witch Queen. You gonna check that out?
No, I have a little bit of bias against Destiny.
Yeah, so do
Yeah.
I.
So yeah, I'll probably be passing on that one.
Buy it today, lose it tomorrow.
That's
Uh,
insane.
Elden Ring's coming out on the 25th.
Very.
Absolutely, 100%. Gotta
Yeah,
check
very
that out.
excited about that one.
Want to ride my horse in Souls?
Yeah.
Then at some point in February, no solid date yet. Blood Bowl 3 is coming out.
I'll check that one out.
I will
I'll check
too.
that one out. I I would like a good sports sim, especially for football, and
Yeah,
we don't really have one,
yeah,
but that should be fun.
I agree. We also have Evil Dead the game sometime in February, supposedly.
Tentatively, because give me the jokes and do it right.
Mm-hmm.
But that one seemed to get off to a kind of a rocky start, and it's like the fan base had to go, no, wait a minute,
Right. Let's roll it back.
you you can't do that.
What are
You
you
got to
doing?
give us that. You got to give us Ash.
Yeah,
So tentatively, yeah, I hope it's a good game. I really do.
I do too.
I hope it's a lot of fun, and I hope they get the character right.
Yeah. On March 3rd, we have Babylon's Fall, which
I don't.
is a Square Enix game climbing a tower. We don't know
Mm,
a lot more about that yet, but we did find out some really interesting information the other day because of everything going on with what's going on in the world right now. The game almost wasn't going to finish, and they borrowed assets because it's Square Enix. They got permission and borrowed assets from Final Fantasy XIV to be able to finish the game. And I'm very curious what that means.
Okay. Maybe a jump puzzle. I don't know.
I,
I'll tell
I
you.
have to try this now.
Yeah. Well, the name's enticing, right?
Yeah. Babylon's
Um.
Fall.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I'll check it out.
It's
I
it's
have to
just
get more.
like it's probably gonna wind up just being like they borrowed weapons. Like all the weapons are gonna be 14 weapons. But I hope it means they borrowed enemies. We'll see. Gran Turismo 7 is March 4th.
Yeah. There's a weird thing about these racing sim games,
Hmm.
because they go so much for realism.
Yeah.
There are often a lot of times when they release, they have pushed the boundaries in some form or fashion,
Yes.
and a good racing sim coming out usually makes the gaming industry better.
Yeah.
It's a subtle thing, but it's there.
Yes, I agree.
So yeah, definitely.
Project Triangle Strategy comes out on March 4th. This is the Final Fantasy Tactics like being made by the same team that
Uh,
made Octopath Traveler.
yeah, Octopath
Uh,
Traveler was an interesting game.
yes, it was. Had some
Uh,
issues, but such a cool
yeah,
idea.
yeah. Let's see. What was the Final Fantasy? We played through about 10 different storylines, 10 different characters. Maybe it was 20.
Final Fantasy VI has you touch on each of those characters.
Wasn't a main line.
Okay.
It was a side. Oh,
Are you thinking about the fighting game?
Crystals.
Crystal Chronicles?
Yes. I think that's what I'm thinking
Yeah.
about. That's what I'm thinking about. For some reason,
Yeah.
that came in my head.
Yeah.
I could see the scene because it's a little bit like tactics.
Right.
Ah,
I'm really excited for Project Triangle Strategy myself. Although now it's just Triangle Strategy. I stopped saying project.
oh, okay.
Which
Yes,
is
it's not a project anymore.
it's a better name than Project Triangle Strategy.
Yeah.
What? It actually had like a really good demo, and the demo's still up. So anybody that's curious about it can go check it out on Switch. And the demo carries over to the main game. So hey,
Oh, that's cool.
very nice.
Nice little
Uh,
touch of that.
we have Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin coming out on the 18th, which is Final Fantasy 1 reimagined.
Yeah,
100% playing that.
yeah. The Final Fantasy One is one of my favorite games of all time,
Yeah.
and yeah, the game was so hard. Not
The
anymore, but it
story's
was.
right. The story's very different now, but
Hmm.
we'll see if that's good or bad. I think I can put up with a bad story for how good that gameplay is,
Okay.
but we'll see. The main
Yeah.
character very much feels like an edgelord from the 2 demos that I played, but it's possible they're doing that on purpose because in the second demo there's a moment where he pulls out what's literally like an iPod and starts playing some heavy metal like so it's possible they're leaning into it on purpose and it could be really good.
Possibly. All right.
We'll see.
Give that a look.
On the 25th is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
That would be interesting. The
Curious.
uh the Borderlands team
Mm-hmm.
putting that out, kind of expanding a game from within the game
Yes,
in the game. So
it could be good.
yeah.
Then we have the death of like solid release dates because like Forspoken is probably going to be the 24th of May,
Yeah.
and
Once you
that
get
seems
out that
really interesting.
yeah. The Not yeah, as you said, we're getting to the where there's like, okay, maybe now.
Yeah,
No definite dates.
yeah,
Yeah. Some of the games coming, some of the stuff is going to be coming out next year. I'm just going to be interested to see the gameplay and the graphical enhancements that
right,
that they can pull off. I'm just hoping that some of the games I'm looking forward to, I'm hoping the storyline doesn't suffer
right.
because it looks good.
Yes, because we got that in the Xbox One PS4 launch window, where there were some games that came out that, what were you thinking? Rise, Son of Rome is the one I always fall back on.
Yeah. Well, that what was the oh Lords of
Lords of the Fallen.
Lords of Fall? Yes,
Yep,
man, that
yep,
game looks great.
yep. I beat that game for review.
Oh man.
I have
I
2 more that have release dates, but they're not solid.
okay.
Um, and then I have a couple, just like 1 or 2 of the we don't have any idea if they'll even come out in 22. But Saints Row the remake in August.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully they're hopefully they looked over at what happened with GTA.
Yes,
Goes, you know what? We can avoid that
yes,
and just make Saints Row One prettier.
right. We'll find out. And
Yeah.
then Starfield sometime in November, maybe November 11th. We'll find out. That's the Bethesda space
Yeah.
game.
I have a feeling that's going to be delayed.
I'm almost positive.
I'll do that. Um, isn't a Star Ocean coming out next year?
Yes, Star Ocean supposedly sometime next year. I'm very tentative.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll do that.
Then we also have like Digimon Survive, Earth Defense Force 6, all possibly coming out, but we don't know for sure.
I
But
would
the
like a
one
new
I wanted to ask you about here is The Lord of the Rings Gollum is possibly coming out next year.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, this game started um, with the modeling of Gollum. Somebody like, hey, we can do this.
Right.
Um, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Okay, in the story, Gollum, there's stuff you get straight out that Gollum does, right, in the scenes that
Right.
he's in. But there's also you have these stretches where he's not there, but
Mm-hmm.
he's mentioned, and things happen. Aragorn and Gandalf coming upon him, catching him at one point, and him
Yes.
escaping from them. Uh, Going into Mordor by himself,
Yeah.
being captured and tortured and released. So there's a lot there, and it'd be really cool if they bring the stuff that's not, the scenes that he's not in
Right.
is
I
kind of
agree.
what you go through. and I'm
I agree.
hoping that's what they do. Ugh.
The other one I wanted to ask you about was Little Devil Inside. And this is the one that was really interesting art style where you move across the map, but then you have like the the almost Matryoshka doll style characters. Looks very interesting.
Is this a? I'm trying to think of the. I'm trying to picture it. Is this a 2D?
Sort of. It's the kind of game that you may have to actually pull the trailer back up to be able to like remember what it looked like. I'm gonna pull up a picture for everybody to watch it on the stream of Little Devil Inside, but it is such a unique and weird game.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, because it has that weird Cheshire cat looking thing. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, but I keep trying to pull this picture up. May not work because for some reason I'm using Yahoo, even though I'm in Chrome. I don't know why. Uh, no, I don't want Little Caesars.
Yeah, the gameplay on uh the scene on the train and going through. Yeah, very really. It almost looks like stop motion animation
Yeah.
on that. Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting game, I think. And they've got the world looks great, so I hope you can get a picture or two up.
I'm gonna grab this. I had to save it first, but there we go. Like look at this game. So interesting design wise.
Yeah, the uh the characters, the world that you travel through is like it's kind of weird. It's almost like super realistic, and then you have like your interactions and your characters that are stylized.
Yeah. I'm grabbing another one here to put up as well.
Okay, gotta set that up. Man,
Where did
the
it just go? Here it is.
and when the trailers, if you watch the trailer, almost 5 minutes, what it starts at the beginning, and then what you see, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not like a natural progression. You're like, where did that come from? But
Not the same game. What the heck?
yeah, but very, very interesting looking.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have a couple other quick things that are going to be coming out
Okay.
that I wanted to see your opinion on, which are some game movies coming out in 2022.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have the
mentioned-
Uncharted movie.
Uh, you know what? It looked from the trailers. It looks like they've done a pretty good job with it. Actually,
It does. It really does. They
Um,
they actually somehow made Tom Holland look like Nathan Drake in a way that I don't understand.
Yeah, they pulled that off, and Mark Wahlberg,
Hmm?
in his way, it looks the scenes, the setup. It looks like they paid attention to the game.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they'll stay for it and keep the characters as they are. A little bit snotty.
Yes. I think it's good that they chose Tom Holland too. I mean, Tom Holland's never. I never would have said Tom Holland should be Nathan Drake, But
Yeah,
the fact of the matter is, Tom Holland does his research for his roles, and so he knows who Nathan Drake is, and that gives
Yeah.
me a little bit of hope here.
yeah, yeah. I know
Then
that's
we
why they need to
have-
give Henry Cavill a Warhammer movie.
Yes, 100%.
Just let him do it.
Let him be the God Emperor of mankind.
Yes.
Let him do it. We have the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie.
Yeah, and this I'm actually really hopeful for this because this is one. I know from the first movie, this is one time they went, you know what, fans are right. and
Yep.
we can do better, and
Yep.
they fixed it.
So now they got Knuckles and Tails coming in.
Yeah. Now Knuckles. Which Knuckles are we gonna get?
My
'Cause we can
gut
get
says
Cool Knuckles or
Yeah.
lame Knuckles.
my gut says we're getting cool Knuckles when he's a bad guy, lame Knuckles when he's a good guy.
Okay.
Because the
Fair
trailer makes
enough.
it seem like Robotnik brought him there,
Yeah.
And so that's my gut, which is unfortunate.
You didn't want to talk about the Pratt Mario?
Oh, that's the last one on my list here. Just the Mario movie.
I have
Uh,
no. I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. Uh, I remember the last Mario movie,
yeah, I do too.
so I don't know what to think about this. It's kind of terrifying.
Luigi. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same actor all around, as far as I know. So it will still be Jim Carrey for Robotnik for sure.
Yeah.
Look, all I'm saying is, at least John Leguizamo's not in this movie.
Oh, like, that first Mario movie was horrible. I don't know, man.
Tiny hit.
I don't know.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
yeah,
Perhaps they'll do it. They'll do all right with it. Um,
yeah,
Problem is, sometimes actors or actresses become like a hot item,
yeah. They
and
do.
and, and they try to get them in everything, and sometimes the roles don't work for them. So it's
Why
hard
is
for me to see Chris Pratt as Mario, but then again,
Charlie Day's Luigi?
yeah,
Like,
I can't wait to see these set photos.
yeah. They don't even sound Italian. Are they gonna make them do fake Italian accents the whole time? Please no.
Um, Well, I mean, I guess technically Mario's had a fake Italian accent the whole
Well, I mean,
time.
yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a Mario.
maybe they just brought him in to make the sound effects. So like Chris Pratt, all he's gonna do all movie is just whenever Mario gets hit, or just
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Ugh. I'm gonna try to turn it into a World War II movie. Get Ryan Johnson to direct it. No, no, I wanted to make a Mario World War II movie.
Mario in the trenches. You gotta be with me, Luigi.
Get up, get up.
I can't do the accent without doing the hands.
Boing, boing.
And for anybody who's like, wow, Trey, that's super racist doing the hands when you do the Italian accent, I'm also German. And we do this a lot. I don't blame anybody that does this when they do a German accent.
Okay. Well, I thought you were going to say, well, I'm also German, so we make fun of the Italians.
I mean,
Oh, my
this
God.
is true. This is true.
This just seems like a bad
Uh,
idea all around.
yeah,
Look, I got nothing against Chris Pratt. It's just certain casting choices. When I hear them, I'm like,
for
no.
sure.
Even if I like the performer,
Yeah.
and this was one of them.
I was that way with Cumberbatch and Doctor Strange. I didn't think he was going to be able to bring the Doctor Strange energy. I thought he was going to be too British.
No, no.
And he did
Yeah,
an
he's a great
incredible
Star-Lord.
job.
He
Yeah, Chris
did.
Pratt did an incredible job of Star Lord too. I agree.
I tell you what, I want to make a defense of somebody since we're kind of off in the weeds, talk about movies and stuff.
Sure.
Uh, I do not like Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
He did a great job as Batman. It was the wrong story for him.
Yes. I think he was a great Bruce Wayne. I think he was a really good Bruce Wayne. I think he was a very
He-
solid Batman.
but he was a Frank Miller Batman
Yes, he was.
in a non Frank Miller world.
Right.
If you're going to give us that Batman and put all those hints in the background that
Yeah.
this is the Batman it's going to be, because his Batcave is very similar to the ones in
Yes.
Frank Miller trilogy, and then not give us that Batman.
Yes, I agree.
I honestly, I think, like I said, I was so like, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 and then watching it, I was like, man, that kind of sucks. He did a great job, and
Yeah.
the story was horrible.
There are a couple scenes where he's selling it and carrying that movie, and then you remember what movie you're watching, and he can't carry it enough. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, that was kind of a
Jesse Eisenberg as Luthor Jr. Not a great casting, in my opinion.
no, no.
I'll put it this way: I think he would have been fine as Luthor Jr. If we knew he was Luthor Jr. at the start.
Yeah, also, I think he was kind of wasted being put as Lex Luthor
Yeah, I
because
agree.
I think he could have been an excellent Riddler.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I really do. I think he would have been a perfect Riddler for that
Look,
universe.
somewhere we have our Henry Cavill Superman movie against like what's his name? The not he's in the Fast and Furious movies, but I'm not talking about Vin Diesel. I'm talking about the other guy that's like not The Rock, not Vin Diesel. Uh
John Cena,
no,
Paul Walker,
Statham, Jason Statham.
Statham.
With
Okay, yeah.
Jason Statham actually doing a good Luthor. Because when he's not playing that like guy,
Yeah.
he can sell it as a I'm incredibly diabolical. I'm going to speak very easily with you. We're going to have a very
Yeah.
simple conversation, but I could kill you in a heartbeat.
He might not be too bad, man. That's a pretty good one. We'll do that.
In another universe, we got that movie and it was incredible.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. The casting makes movies, and I think they've done. It's sad. It's more sad. It hurts me worse when the casting's great and the story's crap
Yeah, I
than it
agree.
does when the casting's crap and the story's good.
Yeah, because I can put up with look for all the trouble that I give Gal Gadot for some of her scenes. If that movie had been good, I could put up with Kal-El. No, I could put up with that if the
Yeah.
movie had been good. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
there are gonna be some very vocal Snyder Cut fans that are gonna be in the comments going like, "What do you mean the movie wasn't good? Have you seen the Snyder Cut?" Yes, I have, and
Yeah.
you know,
And and in all honesty, if Snyder had some stuff that he was not able to continue working on that
right,
movie, and
absolutely,
with what happened, there is no blame there.
right,
But I do think it would have been much better, had he been able to
yeah.
continue with his original vision instead of trying to piece together something at the end.
I still don't think it's a good movie,
Yeah.
but I think that his vision for the movie is a lot easier seen. If it wasn't 4 hours long, I would rather watch it every time to watching the other one. But as it is, I think I would rather just not watch either.
Well, he didn't. That's even though it's a Snyder cut,
Right,
but
it's
it's
still
still
not
not
everything. Right,
still not his movie.
right.
He worked with what he have, I think, on through
He
that.
got to put in a lot of the scenes that got cut, but it's
Mm,
still not like the whole thing he wanted.
yeah.
And hey, look, all it would have taken was just a couple changes, and I think that could have been a stellar movie.
Yeah.
But there are parts. It's weird because going back now, thinking of both, there are parts of the Whedon movie that I like way more, and parts of the Snyder movie that I like way more. And so
Yeah.
it's just like, man, if somebody could take both of these movies and put them together, this would be incredible.
Well, I think they botched launching the DC universe,
They did.
the DCU.
Witch
Couple of
Hunters.
casting choices,
Yeah.
and a couple of just like said with the Batman thing. That's not the
Yeah.
Batman that should be in those movies.
Right.
You know, that's the Batman for the when you're in movie 20, like Endgame.
Yeah. For sure.
That's when that Batman is. But yeah,
There's a rumor that they're making a Batverse movie where a bunch of different Batman will meet up.
okay,
Could be okay.
could be okay.
That's still just a rumor right now.
Yeah, yeah,
The shows in the
and
Marvel movies, yeah, the shows are almost always better for DC,
yeah,
except for Batwoman.
yeah, yeah. Ooh, don't man. They do some characters wrong.
Yep.
You know.
Hey, I'll sit here every single podcast and talk about how the CW has some of the greatest character moments in all of superhero television. Not movies, but television. There's that
Yeah.
Supergirl moment that I've talked about a couple different times. There's a moment with the Flash in season 2 of the Flash that is incredible. There's a really, really poignant moment with Arrow in season 3. And then they just go, well, yeah, we can do that. But instead, we'd rather just do all of this. Gorilla
Yeah.
Grodd wants to go back in time and kill Barack Obama.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. I did like. I did. I remember the the Flash TV series that came out with. Excuse me. Um, he played he played Barry Allen in the Flash, but he also was in this one as Barry Allen's dad,
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
and he also played the Golden Age Flash. I can't think of
Yep.
the name of it right now. Let's do that. But he had a Flash series that was really good. The suit on
Yeah.
it was actually really good too. I'll do
Look,
that.
all I'm
It can't
saying
be done.
is
They just throw it up. They just mess it up.
the CW's biggest sin is still the fact that at one point Lex Luthor uses a permanent marker to rewrite the Book of Infinity. Why can you do that?
That was not Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon is something else. And no, I'm using a marker on the Book of Infinity. That's stupid.
If you can do that, somebody would have done it a long time ago. What do you mean?
No joke.
Lex Luthor goes, there is no Superman. Just a footnote in the Book of Infinity, and it just erases Superman from existence. Excuse me? You can just write something down and it has... How did he
That's
pick up the Book of
handy.
Infinity? Literally, how did he pick up the Book of Infinity? It's supposed to weigh infinity. It has the weight of all the universes in it.
I don't know.
Oh, CW makes me so mad.
Ugh.
You're making me so mad.
But I do agree, especially as they got it rolling.
Yeah.
When it started, those first couple of seasons of each, kind of, you had, well, even when they had all four going, you still had Flash was in a few seasons. They kind of lost the plot a little bit, but it was still had some solid points in it. And Flash had been going for a while, and Legends of Tomorrow kind of filled in that it had a goofiness to it that worked.
Yeah.
And then you had the first couple of seasons of Supergirl, and then it kind of went what, and just absolutely insane.
I stand by the fact that Batwoman has a character in it whose blood can cure any disease. This character is a doctor and runs a backdoor shady clinic and doesn't use her super blood to heal anybody.
Okay.
Because it's like the show forgets she has super blood until they need a disease cured, and they remember she has super blood. There are things that you don't write into your story, because as soon as you tell me that a character's blood literally has the ability to cure any disease, guess what?
Yeah.
Disease doesn't exist in the world anymore.
Right.
Because this
That's
character's on the
that's
heroes
huge.
team. It's all gone. It's all it's covered, Oh.
Yeah. So start duplicating that. Figure out what the antibodies are.
Come on.
Spread it around.
It makes me think about how you can't do it, right? There are ways to do it where it doesn't drastically change the world. Penance is the one I always think of. I don't remember his name before he accidentally blew up that school, but he
was a bouncing boy. He was gosh, dog it. Yeah, I remember that. Yes, I know you're talking
develops the power to literally draw the pain out of other people.
Yeah.
Because he thinks he deserves it, right? And so you go, well, then why is there still pain in the world? And the reasoning is that he can only take so much of it at a time.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, of course, this is how you solve that problem of this guy thinks he deserves the pain and everyone else should be okay, so the world should never feel pain again, but he's still just human.
Yeah.
Nope, super blood. So
You know, I take a little bit at a time.
Yeah. Turns out she's anemic. Who knew? Super blood can't cure that. You gotta be careful. You write yourself into corners,
Well, I think a lot of times, there's a lot of pressure to get the storyline out, so there's not a lot of time to think back over what you just wrote down. You're under a lot of pressure, deadlines. Imagine so with a weekly show. You're gonna have all this done before you start filming, or to get it ready for the season coming up.
Right.
But yeah, there's sometimes it's just so, it seems like it's just so overlooked, or it's so blatant. Sometimes it's like on purpose.
Well, and I think there's a thing you're going to run into eventually when you're making things in the same universe, where eventually you will outmode stuff without realizing you've done it. There are the obvious huge examples of Star Wars where the light speed jump uh, kamikaze is like, okay, that undoes the entire universe. But then there's like the little ones too of like, in Mandalorian, they have these really, really good trackers they can use to hunt people down basically across the galaxy. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, why wasn't Boba Fett using those in, you know, Empire Strikes Back or A New Hope?
Right. Yeah.
And you have stuff like Harry Potter, where in the first movie they dump all those letters into Harry's house that he's living in to try and tell him he's going to Hogwarts, and then in movie like 5 or 6, there are the screaming letters that just tell you what's inside them. Like, well, yeah, those didn't exist back then, so now they kind of make that thing from before seem like, well, of course they would have had those, but they can't have because we didn't make them yet. And so it's like when you continue to make something in the universe, if you're not careful, it's extremely
Yeah.
easy to outmode stuff, And
No,
not
the
all of them are huge issues like the Lightspeed Kamikaze either, but
yes. Running out of fuel.
Yeah.
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 Oh man. The EA, when Lord of the Rings Online was coming out after that, Harry Potter was getting going.
Hmm.
The there was an IP for Harry Potter, a Hogwarts MMO,
Yeah.
and EA started it, got it started, then dropped it. Didn't think anybody would play. I think they might have missed out.
For sure, because that blew up afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of, this is the brain connections. You said Harry Potter. I thought about Niantic, who made that failed Harry Potter game. Remembered
Mhm.
Niantic, and then remembered I'm playing Pokemon Go again. Because I've been trying to, get back into shape. So I've
Oh,
been,
yeah.
I've been
Getting
walking a
outside.
little bit more in the park, and people go, "Well, that's where your time's going, Trey." It's like, well, yeah, probably, but my health is important.
Yeah. You get outside, get some fresh air. It's wild, man.
So I've been playing
Yeah.
Pokemon Go again. That's nice.
Okay. It is. That's actually and yeah, Niantic. They got a new game coming up next year too. That's gonna get that outside get going.
Yeah,
Get people outside and hunting things down.
for
They've
sure.
got two, but obviously Pokemon Go is like so much bigger than
Ingress.
the hacking game
Yeah,
Ingress. But it uses the same point, so you could literally play two.
yeah, you could.
You can play both of them at each point.
When they added in the scanning from Ingress now at the Pokestops, now you scan the Pokestop without you don't
Oh,
just swipe it. You actually use your phone to scan the Pokestop to prove that you're there, which is the whole reason they did it originally with Ingress.
yeah, yeah, because of the geo hack.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, I'm going to go from Texas to the Great Lakes.
yeah.
I'll do that. Yeah. That's kind of cool. That's cool.
Yeah, that's a good way around that, I think, because
Yeah.
you don't have to do that to get the rewards, but you get better rewards if.
Yeah.
So it's like they can't fix the problem, but they can incentivize people to play it correctly instead.
Yeah. It can't, right. Well, yeah, because they can't fix the problem without being way too invasive on, which I think. will make
Man,
it
I think
very
that would probably break
hard.
TOS for Play Store and Apple.
Yeah, I think so. You'd have to have because you'd be, yeah, going outside of the program,
Mm-hmm.
not you. You wouldn't be going outside of the program just to use the phone's functions like camera
Right.
or like that. You'd actually have. It's going to mess with the properties of the phone and the personal information. Wouldn't be good.
No. What a crazy distance we made it from the Mario movie to Pokemon Go.
Right on. Well, Bubba, I am out of coffee.
Yeah, I think for this newsless basically podcast, I think this is a pretty good place to call it.
I think so.
We'll be back. Or Rungren will be back Thursday.
Yes,
with
I
the
will.
Thursday podcast. Just a reminder again, I have an emergency medical procedure that's come up in the family, and I'm not going to be able to be here Thursday. But Rungren's going to take care of that, and then next week we'll be back with next year, I guess. We'll be back
Yeah.
with new stuff. We got a lot of plans. I'm excited. If you want to support us, you can go to the Patreon, pay us a little as $1 a month to get into the Discord. Overhauled a bunch of stuff in there today. So we're looking forward to the future. We got a lot of stuff we want to do, so please hang out with us and look forward to it.
Absolutely. We do appreciate everybody that's stuck with us through this podcast and then through this year
Mm-hmm.
has watched it with it. I, you know how special I think you are, and I just really appreciate the time that you'll take this time and spend with us.
Yeah.
Just want you to know I really, really appreciate that.
All right. Well, with all that said, then I have been Trey.
I've been Rungren.
We've been the full spectrum, and remember to always have oh 233 episodes, and I haven't messed it up in so long. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that life has to offer.